VJ Edgecombe could very well turn out to be on a, not gonna say is, but he's on his way to potentially having a Dwayne Wade type trajectory. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Fully Talk PA. Always keep it a stack, always keep it a buck. We're back. Good Wi-Fi, no winter storm. We're back. New year, continuing to be me. Outside, inside, for those who know. Shout out Z. But let's get into this. And we're gonna talk some Sixers. We're gonna talk some Eagles. We're gonna talk some, because it's just going on a lot going on right now. We're gonna talk a bit, college football at the end of this, John. But let's start off with this. VJ Edgecombe right now, averaging 16 points, I think about 5 rebounds. As a rookie, playing a lot of minutes, really good defensive splits. And why do I say Dwayne Wade? D-Wade, as a rookie, averaged about 16 points, kind of same amount of rebounds. His team, he was the focal point of his team. Obviously, Shaq, came in and whatever, they did all that, won the chip, I believe second season. But Dwayne Wade, even when he was brought the comparison to him, Dwayne Wade loved the VJ Edgecombe comparison. Elite, guard, like kind of same, not the same side, but similar build, can get up defensively. I know y'all saw the VJ double block, but that's exciting. Left hand, right hand, double block last night that went over the Mavs. VJ Edgecombe could very well be the next Dwayne Wade. That is not a crazy thing to say. Once again, like D-Wade, 16 points per game, rookie season, rookie of the year, I believe. Tore it up. Miami, was the focal point of that team. I'm looking at the Sixers team. I'm looking at VJ Edgecombe, playing it, especially defensively. VJ has been, sensational. Look at his work. I think one of his best games was on Brunson. Just locking him down. When that Sixers had that big time win a couple weeks ago in the Garden. And now I'm just looking at, the Sixers team as a whole, direction it's heading. Tyrese Maxey, superstardom, top in MVP voting, top in All-Star voting. I'm looking at, other guys, Dominic Barlow, playing his ass off. This Sixers team, the future is looking very bright, and we'll see what happens with PG and Embiid, but Sixers team really looking like it's going in the right direction. And let's talk about it, because we had somebody sent me this statistic. Tyrese Maxey is a legit MVP candidate. Embiid, we're going to talk about Embiid. Embiid is improving every single game that he's played. Embiid is improving. PG, bro, Paul George shooting the 3 over the last 5 games. I don't have the percent numbers in front of me, but I've watched the games. Paul George has looked really good. We just saw, once again, VJ, clutch performance in Memphis, game winner, dagger. He did that. But PG, he's made some plays. And we just talked about VJ. VJ is the clutchest rookie I have ever seen. His words, not mine. Although, if it was my words, it wouldn't be a crazy thing to say. Dominic Barlow, most underrated NBA player. I don't think people understand, especially when PG is out, or VJ with the illness, or other guys are banged up. I don't think people realize like how good Dominic Barlow has been. Like if you're like a box score merchant, he's only like 9 points, and he's not doing too much. When Dominic Barlow, like when other guys have been injured, Dominic Barlow has stepped up. Dominic Barlow has been the one to make those clutch shots. Dominic Barlow has been the one that's locked down defensively alongside VJ. So shout out Dominic Barlow, because he's played extremely well. Kelly Oubre, once again, hasn't even been back yet. Quentin Grimes, he started up super hot to start the season. A bit of a cool off, but he's been, sensational to start this season. Jared McCain, it's like sometimes Nick Nurse forgets he's there oh, I have Jared McCain. I have a guy who can handle the ball on my bench. And yes, Jared McCain will have like 2 turnovers, maybe a game. Let's see, I don't have everybody's like stuff in front of me. But like it comes to a point. There's been games where we'll talk about this Sixers in the third quarter. But there's been games where, like you can put Jared McCain in the game. If maybe Maxey needs a quick breather, or maybe you need something. Like, you are allowed to put Jared McCain in the game. You are allowed to put Justin Edwards in the game for 10 for 10. You're allowed to do that. But those guys can only improve. And last guy before we talk about Sixers as a team, Andre Drummond is shooting 40%. Not from the free throw line, from 3. Let me repeat that. Andre Drummond is shooting 40% from the 3-point line. Like this, I'm looking at Detroit. I'm looking at the Knicks. Outside of that, there is no team in the Eastern Conference that the Philadelphia 76ers should fear. Like, you're going to tell, like, Boston is like, they're looking much better than people thought they would without Tatum. Although they don't look as good, obviously, without Tatum. Magic, The Hawks, when Trae Young is playing, Trae Young is about to be out of there. Like, I'm just looking around at this East. The Heat are super confusing. Bucks, no. Pacers, no. Like, Charlotte, Brooklyn, Wizards, like, you got your bottom feeders. Cleveland, no. They're about to pack it up. Everybody's about to get packed up in Cleveland. So I'm just looking at this Eastern Conference, and I'm like, this is like the time. Like, if fully healthy, the Sixers will be the most dangerous team in the Eastern Conference. And, once again, Detroit and the Knicks, those are the only 2 teams. Outside of that, there's no excuse. There's really no excuse. And I'm still on the trade Embiid / this is your last year Embiid. I'm still on that. I'm still standing on that, just because you see best ability is availability. And yes, Joel Embiid has played like extremely well over the month of December. Embiid played extremely well. Played big time that Grizzlies win alongside VJ with that clutch 3 to end it. But the best ability, and I like and I'm hoping the Sixers plan is you're not playing them a lot this year. That way, when it gets to April, when it gets to May, you're ready to go, or you're ready enough, you're healthy enough to where you can play a full series. But I'm so the mindset, best ability is availability. And, with Embiid, it's unfortunate. But as we've said multiple times, this is a business. And I'm not saying this. The owners are saying Josh Harris, Daryl Morey, that's what they're thinking. And I don't know what you should expect of a guy. Yeah, he's incredible every time he plays. But when does he play? Same thing goes for Anthony Davis. Yeah, he's great. He's incredible when he plays. When does he play? And, I just think, it's tough, but at some point you gotta move on, better horizons. But let's talk about this problem with the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers are the worst third quarter team in basketball. You start off the second half in OKC. I think they might have been tied. You end the third quarter down 15. You go up into halftime against the Lakers, up by 6. You're trailing to the Lakers at the end of the third quarter, down 9. It's just like Nick Nurse, like, Can you adjust? Can Nick Nurse? Can you do something? Because it can't be the offense always goes stagnant. Once again, Jerry McCain for some reason is not on the floor. Justin Edwards for some reason is not on the floor when guys are tired. And yes, that's the reason you have a deep bench so other guys can come in and contribute. The 76ers need to figure this out or they will not be getting past New York. They will not be getting past Detroit in the playoffs. Like, you can't keep doing this and expecting, different results. Something has to change with the third quarter, with the second half offense. Clutch time play calling, something has to change. That was a really good play call in the Memphis game a couple of games ago. Maxey draws the two, VJ wide open at the top of the key. Defender was late helping over, but something has to change long term. It's just frustrating to look at when, yes, you go into OKC, you go into the half, they might have been tied or up or down a couple, and you end the third quarter down 15, and the game is pretty much wraps. Be serious. Nick Nurse, be serious. But Sixers currently, I think they're like 17-14. Once again, that big time win last night in Dallas. Shout out Cooper Flag. Shout out VJ. Shout out Concanipple, Cedric Howard. Dylan Harper. This is a really good, really great rookie class. I mean, what we're seeing. But once again, Sixers. This is it. For Embiid, PG having a resurgence. I'm still not completely buying into that train, but he has looked good. Embiid has looked good, but once again, I'm a Sixers fan. I'm an objective Sixers fan. I will not be fooled. And since speaking of not getting fooled by things, let's talk about the Eagles. The Eagles, what the Eagles are trying to do is, send the NFL like an underlying message by starting Tanner McKee. And let's continue this. Let's preface this. I like bro. Tanner McKee is that dude. It's coming to a point where, yes, because Tanner McKee has looked really good in spurts. It's kind of like the thing with Dak and Cooper Rush to a lesser extent, because I do think Tanner McKee is better than Cooper Rush, and I think Jalen Hurts, well, any objective fan knows Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott. It's kind of like that where, I think, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago when Dak was out, Cooper Rush was like 5-0, and he was about to go into Philly. And people were saying, if he wins this game, they might have to trade Dak, get Dak out of here. That was Cowgirls fans were saying that. And Cooper Rush laid an egg, multiple turnovers. And Cowgirls fans rushed for, no, we need Dak. Dak, you got to come back this week early. So Tanner McKee, let's just say he throws, for 3 touchdowns, whatever, against Washington. With the twos, that'd be Darius Cooper, Jahan Dotson, maybe bring someone else up off the practice squad. First off, people would immediately start saying, oh, well, why can't Jalen Hurts consistently go for, look at Tanner McKee. Why was he on the bench all year? We need to start looking at things in perspective. Yes, was Cooper Rush playing well? With ones, by the way, was Cooper Rush playing well? Yes. But in big games and big moments, there are levels to this. Do I think Tanner McKee could start right now in Arizona? Yes. Miami? Yes. The Raiders? Yes. The Vikings? Yes. The Lions? I mean, if you need an efficient pocket passer, with who all he needs is a good O-line and weapons around him. I mean, Is Taylor McKee any different than Jared Goff? I mean, hey man, we're keeping it a buck, keeping it a stack. All right, I'm gonna have to stop trolling. I'm gonna stop trolling. But do I think Tanner McKee could start on a lot of NFL teams right now? Yes. Now, does that make him better than Jalen Hurts? No. Did Cooper Rush, beating a bunch of teams that he probably could have started for, does that make him better than Dak Prescott? No. Both with different styles of play, different circumstances, but the Eagles, and I guess we're selling into. It looks like it's gonna be the Rams at home wild card. Because I think the Rams are still at 4 wins, and the Packers are already at 6. Even if the Rams are at 5 wins, I think the Packers it wouldn't really matter. So I think it will be the Rams. But nevertheless, we're just looking at this. This Eagles team could very well go back to the Super Bowl, but right now I'm looking at offense. Did they do enough in Buffalo last week to win? No. The reason why they won is because Jalen Carter, Jalix Hunt, Jordan Davis, Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, Jahad Campbell, those guys stepped up when it mattered most. Because this is a team, I remember a time, because people don't like to talk about this, I remember a time when in 2000, there was this team in Baltimore, greatest defense of all time. I remember a time when that defense gave up 36 points. And the offense, which wasn't, clearly wasn't the best part of that team, needed to have a day. And they had a day and put up 39 points. The same offense that went on to average mid-teens in the point range for the rest of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles defense is the strength of the team this year. There's no running game. The play calling is not that good. So the Eagles defense is going to have to step up. Once again, this is a team sport. I know analysts like to, attack quarterbacks like it's all on them, but this is a team sport. And we're just looking at the offense didn't have it that day. So the defense is going to have to step it up. Also, when Jake Elliott, it seems like when the conditions are harder, that's when Jake Elliott, steps up that's when Jake Elliott steps up. So I hope it's terrible weather for the playoffs because Jake Elliott is going to make them. But you have to look at it when one unit doesn't step up, the other unit, makes the plays. That's how it should be. That's how great teams operate. But the Eagles offense, they're gonna have to step it up a bit. You can't keep leaving the defense out there long enough. Because we saw it 2022 Jets, 2023 Ravens. Like you leave defenses out there long enough, eventually they're gonna fold. The average New York Jets score in 2022 was 16-9. Or you would turn on a Jets game and in mid third quarter it was 6-3. There were so many games that you were if the offense had done anything, the Jets would have won that game. But if you don't have competent quarterback play, not that great O-line play, you don't stand a chance. That defense has C.J. Mosley, Sauce, Quinnen Williams, Chuck Clark, DJ Reed, Quincy Williams. I think John Franklin Myers was on that team. And y'all won, 4 games, 3 games with that defense? So yes, when the defense is that great, it doesn't matter because if your offense can't do anything, what's it for? Look at the Bengals. Look at the Cowboys. One unit is so great, but then the other unit is so terrible, you're average or you're below average. That's how sports works. I know people don't like to think how sports works. And speaking of a team game, the offensive line for the Eagles has been terrible. Any analyst that says, Oh, the Eagles have a top 10 offensive line. They're not worth talking ball to. They're not worth your time on X. They're not worth your time on Instagram. They're not worth your time if you're debating them on TV. If any analyst still starts to say the offensive line is good, just hang it up. Just give it up. It's over. It's done. Cam Jurgens has regressed. Landon Dickerson, for some reason, I know he played for Nick Saban, but you're doing too much. You're not that good right now. Injured, just sit off to the side. Let Brett Toth play because Brett Toth has been sensational. Tyler Seen seems like he might be a guy. And Saquon, still behind that porous offensive line play, had 1,000+ yards, which, by the way, is a sensational year for most running backs. It's a down year for him, and then people will say he's washed. Jalen Hurts, behind that offensive line, still managed to make incredible throws against Buffalo last Sunday. So once again, if people try to say things like the offensive line is still top 10 for the Eagles, therefore it's a super team, just hang it up. Just don't even talk to them. And it sucks because they'll be like, oh well, Cam Jurgens is a Pro Bowler, bro. Zay Flowers was a Pro Bowler. Travis Kelce was a Pro Bowler this year. Like, can we get serious? Can we get serious for 1 second? There's a guy on the Ravens who has now ended his team's season 2 times by fumbling the ball away, trying to do too much. And he is a Pro Bowler. There is a guy in Kansas City who time again this year has come up short, has dropped passes, has not come through, and he is a Pro Bowler. Let's get serious. Jordan Davis was the best D tackle, if not top 3 at worst, this season, and is not a Pro Bowler. Can we get serious for 1 second? But I think Brian Burns was a Pro Bowler. I might have been a troll tweet. He didn't make it or whatever. But the Pro Bowl doesn't matter anymore, guys. All pros. That's where the players. That's where the coaches vote. That's what matters. People that actually, watch film. You're looking at this, and you're saying to yourself, but like, all I gotta say about this, just get serious, because this Eagles team is good and great in some areas, but there's other areas that people still continue to try to prop up, and it's clear like that area, such as the offensive line, is not that. The play calling is not like that. And I just feel that's something that should be mentioned. That's something that should be taken more into account. And what Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley have been able to do with those mishaps is still something that needs to be talked about. Because the average running back is not getting 1,000 yards behind this year's Eagles offensive line. The average quarterback is not doing what Jalen Hurts has done behind that Eagles offensive line. One last thing we talk about the Eagles real quick. I want to talk about a guy that probably should be and will be a defensive coordinator, if not this hiring cycle, then soon. Let's talk about Christian Parker. The Philadelphia Eagles had the worst defense in football in 2023. Y'all remember it. Jalen Hurts having to carry that team until the entire thing just fell apart, and he couldn't save that team anymore because he was hobbled. Defense just giving him anything and everything. Practice squad players. Christian Parker comes in. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Who do you think helped scout those guys? Darius Slay, resurgent 2024 season. Who do you think helped him out? Christian Parker is one of the biggest reasons why the Eagles' secondary is as good as it is. Reed Blankenship would probably not be all what Reed Blankenship is without Christian Parker. A rookie safety was playing lights out before he got injured. Shout out Andrew Makuba. Who's his coach? Christian Parker. Christian Parker has done like just so much good work that not enough people are talking about. So just want to shout out Christian Parker because he'll probably not be on the Eagles staff for much longer. Maybe if he could call offense, he might be on the staff, but hopefully he'll get a DC job somewhere that needs it. Once again, just shout out Christian Parker. He's developed these DBs. And I think lastly, we'll talk about this. I saw something, and it was talking about how Jalen Hurts, not elite or whatever, and like people they were trying to list like reasons why. So once again, being elite, I guess, means like you throw for all the numbers and the stats, and you carry your team, whatever. So, what they were saying was the main thing we were saying was like you're not allowed to, because the main thing with Jalen Hurts is people try to discredit him because there's Saquon. Last year there was a elite offensive line, there was a great defense, there was AJ, there was Devontae, there was Goddard. So all I ask the people is, what did Troy Aikman have? What did Tom Brady have? What did Joe Montana have? What did Steve Young have? What did Peyton Manning have? Who were they throwing to? What defenses did they have? Hey. So was Peyton Manning not throwing to Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Demaryius Thomas, Dallas Clark? Was Tom Brady not throwing to Gronk, Julian Edelman? Had Stephon Gilmore, had legendary defenses, Darrelle Revis, Vince Wilfork. Did Troy Aikman not have the greatest offensive line ever? Emmitt Smith, who has the all-time rushing record. Did he not have Deion? DeMarcus, I'm just asking, did Joe Montana not play with 5 Hall of Famers? Because you can't, just because you don't like the player, start discrediting him because he has all this greatness around him when there's been plenty of other quarterbacks in history who have had greatness around them and at times been carried by that greatness. Tom Brady, especially early in his career, it was the defense that won the Super Bowls. Like, nobody gave Tom Brady the amount of credit early on. So you got to keep it a buck. You got to keep it a stack. That's all I really got to say about that. Let's talk real quick about the landscape. Last thing we talk about on this genre real quick. Let's talk about college football. Michigan. I like where Michigan is right now. I actually caught a scare a couple hours ago. I opened my phone. I see a Michigan player. I see number 27. And I see breaking. And I'm like, no. Then I read, running back Jasper Parker enters the transfer portal. Because my main man, shout out Jaden Sanders. Really good freshman. My next Jalen Ramsey prediction. I think that's what he's going to turn out to be. But thank the Lord it was not Jaden Sanders. But Michigan right now, once again, friend of the show, Andrew Marsh. Really like what he's been doing. One of the most dynamic receivers not in the Big Ten, but all of college football. As a freshman, once they started feeding him the ball in October, you see what his numbers looked like compared to Jeremiah Smith. Hey, don't say I predicted it, but say I predicted it. I'm looking at the rest of the Big Ten. Kurt Cignetti, it's actually crazy. Kurt Cignetti, Alabama assistant. Lane Kiffin, Alabama assistant. We just said Dan Lanning. Mario Cristobal, Alabama assistant. Kirby Smart, Alabama assistant. What Nick Saban has done to college football is crazy. Like, you look at the 4 teams that are left in it right now, like all like Nick Saban, mentees. And let's focus on Kurt Cignetti. Kurt Signetti could very well be the next Nick Saban. You look at what he did. Indiana football was a joke. And now, just 2-3 years later, playing for a national championship. This is just sensational. Nick Kurt Signetti, just what he's done for the program, for that state, for that town, will never be forgotten. And for this parody of, there's for the first time there's no Georgia, there's no Alabama. Side note, thank God Kalen DeBoer is not coaching my team because, man. See, then and we'll talk about Alabama real quick, but get to finish the point. There's no Georgia, there's no Alabama, there's no Ohio, there's no team down south in playing, and I think it's good. I think it's great, but at the same time, the transfer portal and all that NIL stuff, there's a lot of issues that have come up with it, but I think that part is good. And we'll talk about Alabama real quick before we hop on this show. This is not the same Alabama. There is maybe one player, the D tackle at Alabama. He might be the only player that flashes on film. There's no Derrick Henry back there. There's no Mark Ingram back there. There is no Jalen Hurts. There is no Mac Jones. There is no Devontae Smith. There is no Judy. There is no Amari Cooper. There is no Julio. There is no Marlon Humphrey, Pat Surtain. There is no Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs got the heck out of there. He was like, y'all not about to tank my draft stock. There is no CJ Mosley. There is no Dante Hightower. There is no Quinnen Williams, Deron Payne. Alabama, like the players they're getting now, it's not the same. It's not the same 5 stars. It's not the same 4 stars. This team is just, there's no one that flashes on the page for Alabama. And even when Alabama had some down years, quote unquote, they still had 3 guys or 4 guys like, he's going in the first round. There's no one on that team, and if you're an Alabama fan, that should be very concerning. It's just, and people are like, well, Nick Saban left. Michigan, Alabama, team down south, Notre Dame. If a coach leaves, standard is still standard. Oh, and Georgia too. We'll include Georgia. If Kirby Smart leaves, do you think Georgia fans are gonna care like that? Like maybe the team, maybe they'll allow the team have that like rebuilding year. But do you think the team, Georgia boosters, care? Do you think Michigan fans care that Harbaugh left? No. Standard is standard. That's why, people at programs like Indiana before Kurt Signetti came along, when they would have like 6-win seasons, and like people were like, oh, well, at least we made the bowl game. That doesn't, you win 7 games at Alabama, that's it, you're done. It's over. There is a standard that you were supposed to meet. And if you don't meet that standard consistently enough, well, then that's okay. We'll just pack you up and find someone who will. And that's the situation Sharon Moore was actually heading into. Because personally, I didn't think Sharon that much of a coach to begin with. He had some key, attributes, but overall, I was kind of like, you're kind of stuck with this guy. Because it's like he's good enough, but then also I feel like he's kind of holding the team back a bit. And then everything, like, a month ago kind of happened, and now we're here. But I'm just looking at this. First, I as a Michigan guy, I think this is gonna be a really good. Obviously, you lose some guys today. Unfortunately, I think Cole Sullivan. Honestly, shout out Cole, because Michigan had their own version. For people that watch Michigan football, Michigan had their own version of the exciting whites. Cole Sullivan, Jimmy Rolder. Shout out Jimmy. But it's going to be tough. Obviously, I don't think any big time recruits yet. You lose Elijah Dotson. He had some solid upside, some promise. But yeah, when I first saw number 27 Michigan transferring, I thought Jaden Sanders was leading, and I was like, ooh boy. See, but yeah, good. You can't have that. guys like Jaden leaving. But college football, it's heading in the right direction, but also there's some major issues that are gonna need to be tended to. But hey, man, that's just my thoughts on it, man. Once again, it's your boy, Philly Talk with PA. We always keep it a stack. We always keep it a buck over here, man. I'm out, y'all.